Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Dishonored 2 blind. I'm still on my way to Kirin Jindosh's estate, where I'm supposed to free Sokolov. There seems to be a stop along the way. Also a bone charm nearby, supposedly. Also guards reading newspapers and such. I wonder if he's... because, you know, if he's really reading it, it should be theoretically possible to sneak past his peripheral vision, right? Because if someone's reading a newspaper, he isn't really paying that much, like he's looking at the text rather than in front of himself. I guess I can use this, it's going to make it quicker. Okay, and they took care of this guy as well. He can stay here, I think. Wanted, Paolo, leader of the Howlers. Citizens of Karnaca, the Howlers are not your friends. Paolo, leader of the Howlers, wanted by the Grand Guard for various crimes and gang-related enterprises. Dangerous and not to be trusted. Okay, there's an upper floor, I guess. Dr. Hypatia resigns, says Grand Palace. A statement issued from the Grand Palace today, signed by the Duke Abel, indicates that Dr. Alexandra Hypatia has resigned from her position as chief alchemist at the Addermeyer Institute for issues concerning her health. Additionally, the statement advises the Addermeyer will remain closed for the foreseeable future. The statement did not mention the fate of the various cures Dr. Hypatia has been developing. Readers will know her popular Addermeyer solution, which is said to help miners with their work-related maladies, as well as combating blood fly fever.
Give me a handful of the Clockworks and I'll clean up the dust district. I don't know, maybe the tall boys were better.
From the time of the rat plague, they made people stand up straight.
Times change. If the Duke has his way, we'll have an army of the Clockwork soldiers by this time next year.
Split the take. Lieutenant Rakos, by now you've had time to think it over. I'm in a good position where I am at, and I've got some deal going on with the 4 others in the guard, spread all over Karnaca. people I trust watching major entry points. The offer is unchanged. If our very important person from Dunwall comes through, alone or with anyone else, and you're part of the squad taking them down, do whatever it takes to keep it quiet, whatever it takes. Bring the body to me and we'll all gather up. The 6 of us will take the credit for the arrest, and we'll split the Duke's reward. Money and maybe a post at the Grand Palace. Stick with us in this, Lieutenant, and you'll increase your odds. Don't tell a single soul. WL. Okay, this is for rewiring. I don't want to rewire the Wall of Light, I just want to disable it.
End of the road for you.
What? Where did you even come from? Okay, I am kind of screwed.
Supposed to be here. I'll be right there. Take that.
Wait for my orders!
She's wounded. Your command.
I want to smell some guts!
But I'm not quite sure how they noticed me. Like, what was it that made them alert? Was it just the sound of the fighting?
I'll have a look around.
Let's have a look.
I'll be damned!
That's it! Let's go!
Wait for my signal.
Let him go!
Come on. Finish her.
No!
You aren't going anywhere. Let's see what you got. Your command. Nobody's running. Let me show you how I got my stripes.
I've got just the thing for you!
Okay, are they all alive? Yes. Again, I know this is totally not optimal, but I think it's still more fun than reloading all of the time, especially for anyone watching. So I'll just stick with that. Okay, there's a bone charm. Robust. Elixirs restore slightly more health. Okay, I can take that. The astounding Clockwork Soldier, a precise history by the creator himself, Kirin Jindosh, Grand Sirconan inventor. Dear readers, you will be fascinated to know that the earlier models of my Clockwork Soldier had human-like faces. Allow me to explain. As you know from chapters 18 through 22, I've been testing the Clockwork Soldier against a wide range of enemies. Early in the process, a problem emerged. The would-be thieves and assailants were not intimidated by the delicate ceramic faces of the earlier prototypes. One criminal even believed he recognized an uncle and attempted conversation. Undeterred, I set about redesigning the head mechanism, encasing it with a new terrifying visage. I knew I have found the right design when my first test subject fell to their knees in fear.
I wonder what?
What? How do they see me? Like, I'm in such a position they shouldn't be visible from that angle. Okay, interrogation report. Your name is Hieronymus Blas, yes, and you admit to writing, printing and distributing the pamphlet called Get the Clankers Off of Our Streets. Yes, you should read it. How long before the Grand Guard is entirely replaced by mechanical soldiers, indifferent to human suffering, following some aristocrats' orders blindly? He kinda has a point, Captain. What if the Duke thinks we're not good enough for the job anymore? I don't want to go back to the mines. Corporal, this is hardly appropriate. Imagine, infallible, incorruptible soldiers. He's right, Captain. Interrogation suspended. Send the report back to the furnace. So I guess they are worried about automation, which is actually a very real fear in today workforces. Not so much in police maybe, but you know, a lot of like factory work or like drivers. There is a very real fear that at a not distant future, machines are going to be good enough at those jobs that it's going to be economically infeasible to keep employing humans. For example, in The Expanse, the sci-fi series, most people on Earth don't work, but that's because there isn't enough work. There isn't enough work to be done by humans. Like, simply speaking, you know, most people have nothing to do because most sort of menial tasks that could be done by unqualified workers are reasonably well done by machines. Get the clunkers off of Karnaka's streets. Beware a strange sound, like a clanking of a factory machine. You might be seconds from an encounter with the latest work of our grand inventor, Kirin Jindosh. And what should we think of these new marvels of industry, coveted by the wealthiest members of the Karnakan society and standing vigil over the estates? I will tell you, these Clockwork soldiers are a danger to us all, taking lives with all the morality of a shopkeeper's adding machine. They fight for days without rest. As long as the whale oil tanks hidden in their backs don't run dry, tyranny awaits us until we act now and re-establish the lawful society established by the former Duke of Serkonos, twice the leader his indolent, irresponsible son has proven to be. Citizens of Karnaka, fight to get those clunkers off of our streets. Alloy polarization, it's an upgrade. Report employee infractions to the management office.
What was that again? Oh, what's going on? Beg for mercy.
It must be a little ridiculous where when they come here to investigate what has happened with the others, and it's just just this huge pile of everyone that was supposed to be on post, just unconscious in a one big pile. That's a funny visual. Gate codes. I know that discipline has gone to shit over the last few years, and especially this year, but this is a reminder that gate codes should not be written down and left somewhere around, where just anyone who wanders through the office can see them. These codes are for the Grand Guard personnel only, and for good reason. Once you have read and memorized the codes, destroy them. Maybe your rank and assignment don't mean squat to you, but if anything happens to Jindosh, we'll all face a firing squad at the Grand Palace. Duke Abel essential in Dunwall coup. Karnaka's own Duke Luca Abel reportedly played a key role in the recent coup that unseated the unpopular Emily Kaldwin. Our Empress, Delilah Kaldwin, made quick work of the dissenters and has already issued several proclamations, which are sure to be welcomed in Dunwall after the failed reign of Emily Kaldwin, known for shirking her duties in favor of more pleasurable pursuits, and now blamed for orchestrating multiple assassinations against her critics. The coup is sure to increase our fortunes here in Karnaka, as Delilah Kaldwin has strong ties with Duke Abel. Serkonos is now expected to rise in wealth and power within the Empire. There are ongoing reports of lingering unrest in Dunwall, as though those who remain royal to Empress Emily's corrupt reign are dealt with. Okay, I think that's probably most of the guards at this point. Which, you know, the way I've taken them down is perhaps not very elegant. But the most important thing is that they are dealt with. Clockwork Soldier Basics. I've read that. This was posted on one of the other guard stations. I guess that's a tunnel I could sneak through in my shadow form, because it was mentioned that I can sneak through spaces that are fit for a rat. Okay, maybe there's an alternate entrance to that place. No trespassing. And I guess this is the estate. Okay, there are more guards, and this one has seen me, I think.
Air feels heavy. Hard to get a good lungful.
Okay, this just goes to the same place.
recognize you.
People don't hide their faces unless they're up to something bad.
I can't do anything for you. You better run.
Leave me alone! I don't want to die!
Captain, leave.
Okay,
Not right!
I do feel mightily bad about, you know, I've broken into a lot of homes at this point, and I've stolen people's belongings, but never when the people themselves were watching. But then again, what do they, like, what can they even do with that rune? I can use it to cast literal magic, but that requires to have the mark of the outsider. So for them it's a souvenir. For me, it's a...
You've been warned. I'm going to call for help.
Okay, do that if you want. Serkonan Kaiman.
Help me, someone, anyone.
The Duchess in Green. Much has been written on Theodonis Abel and his sons, but in her own quiet way, the Duchess Callas Abel made contributions to Serkonos that will never be forgotten. A collector of artwork, she commissioned the paintings Radanis Abel's Insurgence with Time, Incongruence with Time from Anton Sokolov. It was a tribute to her late son Radanis, who died at the hands of a deranged street scoundrel while studying abroad. The Duchess Abel was also an architect and busied herself with projects as varied as the building of the Orphans of Seafarers Academy and the installation of the marble flooring in the Ducal Palace. The marble was a gift to the Abel family from the late Empress Emily Kaldwin, who had the stone quarried from the cliffs of Redmoor. However, the ducal residence was razed to make room for the new palace, constructed under the discretion of Luca Abel. Subsequently, all of the artwork and treasures from the old residence were lost or destroyed. Callas was a private person and rarely made public appearances. She died in her 57th year after a tragic fall from a balcony.
I need assistance. The masked fugitive. Help.
Okay, I mostly just wanted the rune. I'll leave them the rest of their belongings. I do feel like a right scoundrel as it is, so, you know, there is that. Okay, this goes... here. Oh, so I guess I could get inside even without the codes for the rail, because I could just jump across with the far reach power. Okay, certainly something to keep in mind. But for now, there is still a bone charm nearby that I would very much like to get. Witch's skin. Witch's skin. What does it do? When taking damage, your mana is drained before your health. No, I'm not interested in that at all, actually. Jindosh considers an odd numerator. Okay, so I think I'm done with this area. Was I here? No. It's some kind of an inventor's workshop. Judging from all of the tools. Does this connect to the other? Yes, it does. So I've stolen from them nonetheless, assuming that's their stuff.
Leave me alone.
She left a window unlocked. The others will use it to gain entrance. She told them what to take. Things the master won't miss right away.
Wait, really? So she was planning on things being stolen from here anyway. Jellied eels. Imagine someone breaking into your house just to like eat your loaf of bread and then leaving without elaborating further.
She put a spider in her brother's boot and hoped that it was the venomous type.
Everyone here is a sick bastard. Or alternatively, the outsider is a sick bastard and it's all lies. What the heart tells me. That would be a fine twist. Clockwork soldiers sold at auction. At an auction held by Kirin Jindosh, the Grand Inventor, offered for sale two of his latest contraptions, marvelous clockwork soldiers, the likes of which have never been seen. The mechanical wonders sold after a fierce bidding for an astonishingly high price. Never before has the wealthy class been able to protect themselves and their holdings with such vigor and style. Prior to the auction, only the likes of Duke Abel and more recently our new Empress could enjoy such protection. Having seen a demonstration arranged by the genius natural philosopher himself, I was witness to what his clockwork soldiers can do. Woe to any trespasser or villain who crosses their path. I dare say Kirin Jindosh has discovered a way to end crime altogether. Yeah, I'm going to press X to doubt on that. However, I think I'm ready to go. It makes me slightly curious that I still don't have the key for that. Because I seemingly knocked out every guard who had this post. Great. I'm dead. that was pretty underwhelming as far as deaths go. Okay, I don't think I can get to the roof. What? Okay, that's weird. I guess I keep momentum from falling down? Which is stupid. Because this way it can't really be reliably used to save myself. Unless it was some kind of a bug. Okay, don't think I have a code. Find the gate code somewhere in the Grand Guard station. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really care about the code itself. I just care about the fact that having not found it is a sign that I have missed something pretty obvious, probably. Which might include, you know, more stuff. Now the station would be this, right? Wanted howlers. Howlers are not your friends. Wait, there was just this guy sleeping at his desk, and he has slept through me, knocking out every last guy in the entire station? Hey, that's actually hilarious. It's actually very hilarious. New gate code. The new gate code is 657. Once you've read it and memorized it, destroy the node. Remember, do not write down or forget to destroy the nodes. Well, they have forgotten to destroy the nodes. Also, it was very fun to see this guy having slept through me dismantling the entire squad of his guardsmen. Not even in a quiet way. Like I fought them, you know, head on. Oh, why are they all dead? Huh. Wait, I'm pretty sure when I last checked that they were alive. Let me save and see. Am I still low chaos? I am. What's my stats? How many people do I supposedly kill? Total kills 1. What? What? That doesn't square at all. There's like supposedly like 5 dead people here, but I'm not sure how they are dead. Like, are they dead from me stepping on them? I don't think so. That would be pretty weird. What are my options for reloading? That's already after. Yeah, and this is literally the first save in the mission, so not much help there. How did they all die? They are unconscious here. So what happened in the meantime to make them dead? Yeah, total kills 0. I am very confused. However, I'll just go in, grab the key and then leave before it logs any of them as dead. Well, what's your life status? Okay, you're still alive. Alive. Okay. I will not use the rail because it seems like the more obvious entry point. They would know I'm coming. Instead, I'll go through here. Okay, total kills still 0.
The mansion has a strange beauty to it. Maybe I'll find a way to end this without killing Kieran Jindosh.
I guess I'm entering through the front door anyway, which is a bit deranged, and maybe I should look for alternatives. Let's do it, I guess.
All right, I need to eliminate Jindosh and find Anton Sokolov.
my home, stranger. The door is always open to those with the will to pass the threshold. If you're here by appointment, then proceed and bide your time. Otherwise, I'd be remiss if I didn't inform you about the defensive mechanisms employed here, which are quite formidable. Many have entered without invitation, for reasons as myriad as the fish in the ocean. But of those who've dared to explore further, very few have found their way back out.
Yeah, so it was mentioned that he basically doesn't lock his door because it's a dare to anyone who would want to enter his home uninvited to get through all of his defenses. Clockwork soldiers sold at auction, I read that. Configuration lever. Configuration of what? I think I do need you to use that to like. I guess I could try breaking the glass, but
who would build something like this, and why?
Someone's activated one of the mechanisms in my house.
Jindosh.
Welcome, visitor. My home is always open. It's one of my great curiosities, seeing how the common mind navigates these shifting rooms. I'm Kirin Jindosh, but you must know that. I invite you to continue, stranger. Just come up the stairs. Meet with me face to face in the upper hall.
Okay, so I guess this one is not hostile.
The machine is recharging the magnetic coil.
At least not hostile yet.
Hello, stranger.
I will need some trial and error
I expected the courtesy of seeing you by this point.
to figure out how to take those down.
Remove display back after the final field test. That's it. You're almost there. Come into the gallery so I can see you. Don't be rude. Make yourself known. There you are. Magnificent. I invite you to meet. Now that I see you, I've worked out who you are. Not a hired cutthroat. Your clothes are too fine. An aristocratic thrill seeker? That's closer. You've trained with weapons formally, but you're not a salon fencer. There's a bit of back alley in your movements. All that, and you have your father's eyes, your imperial majesty. Welcome, Lady Emily Kaldwin.
Impressive, Jindosh. Then you must also know why I'm here.
I'd assume my involvement with the Duke brought you to my door. Or maybe you're after washed-up Anton Sokolov, comfortably residing in the assessment chamber. Either way, come find me and take whatever it is you seek. But if you fall, I'll have your body carried to my lab for dissection and study. Until either comes to pass, your secret is safe with me.
I'll see you soon, Jindosh.
Until then.
Jindosh, grand inventor for Sakuras. He dreams of an army of mechanical soldiers.
Waking up beyond my time. Playback for combat protocols. Marvel at the Clockwork soldier's hardened metallic skeleton and razor-sharp blade. Aristocratic profile, but hostile. Spread across the frame and hidden behind protective amber wood panels. Visual awareness in the front.
Okay, I'm dead. I thought he would have waited a little bit before trying to sick them on me. You know, I can just blow them up if I want to, because they are not living, so I don't care about, you know, not hurting them. Although, I guess I didn't save, so let me try and break the windows. Nope. Also, I wonder what will happen if I try to fight
like this, and why?
one of his Clockwork soldiers
Someone's activated
before talking to him.
Jindosh.
My home is always open.
You know what?
My great curiosity is seeing how the common mind navigates these shifting rooms. I'm Kieran Jindosh, but you must know that. I invite you to meet me face to face. Come over to the glass door, here in the upper hall. No, come up the stairs. Only invited guests with an appointment may pass beyond that threshold. Tactical mode. Most unexpected and truly impressive. Not many people would still be standing after that. I expected the courtesy of seeing you by this point. You're shy then. So be it. In the end, you'll be stretched out in my laboratory. Eventually, I'll pry apart all your secrets. I'll make a study of it.
Okay, so I guess I can't talk with him now, because I've proceeded forward. The Clockwork soldiers are not that difficult to destroy if you get a drop on them.
Board from the other side.
Yeah, I guess I'm sort of I've chosen the path of not revealing myself to him on this playthrough. I mean, on this attempt. So be it. I am a bit salty that I didn't think about dropping into when the rooms were changing. I could have tried and dropped into one of the other rooms that were below, and I'm a little salty I didn't do that. Okay, let's go this way then.
I always have a use for those who seek to pilfer from my home or who wish me harm. My assessment chamber has plenty of room for new test subjects, and you'll be in good company, since the infamous inventor
Jindosh's mansion. Okay, assessment chamber. To be honest, it doesn't matter because I would.
Oversimplification, I assure you.
Former Empress on the run. I read that already. Waiting room, elevator, guest area.
Sounds like someone's in the building. Should we wake the Clockwork?
It'll wake up on its own if a fight breaks out. They're blind, but they can still hear.
Creepy to know they might be listening to us. Can they understand what we're saying?
No. No more than an audiograph machine can. Who's that?
Not so much for stealth.
What? The window. Maybe the wind or something.
Someone there?
Okay, will the machine have heard that? Like, how good is its hearing? Is it on? No. But it will be eventually. Like, you know, I'm pretty crap at the whole stealth thing.
Ah, the space behind the walls.
Wisdom to convey. Only know that I am weary. Nothing more. You are nearly friendless and hunted like a beast. Yet still you act with honor. Why do so many have so little? It was never meant to be this way.
Stand clear! I'm bringing up the arc pylon!
Okay, that's the problem. Atrium exit, and this is like a lounge, I guess. Okay, so I need to get past the pylon. It should be possible to do by going in here.
Hello, are you there? I can't sense your weight on the floors or the sounds of your breathing.
This is a pretty cool level so far. I really like the concept behind it. How it all changes. You know, those spaces bend and warp themselves.
I love to sit there smoking and sketching out new ideas.
A Circle of Technology and the New Age. I read that already. Or did I? I'm pretty sure I read that in Dishonored 1, but it appeared as new here, so let's read it again, maybe. One of the advantages of Sokolov's technologies is that they share the same magnetic socket for the tanks of the processed whale oil they use as fuel. When a tank is exhausted, another can be plugged into the place with ease, and the process is simple enough that any common workman or even the lower guardsman of the city watch can handle the task. This applies to the arc pylon and the wall of light security systems, as well as the carriages for transport by those few who are wealthy enough to afford them. The only obvious downside of Sokolov's design is the volatility of the oil itself. A few incidents have occurred, resulting in damage to property or bodily harm whenever one of the tanks has exploded. Okay, I'm standing right in front of the pylon though, so that isn't going to work. I need to look... where is the... maybe I can use the far reach to get... oh damn it.
I just saw something. Nothing then.
Okay, kill me. Just kill me. Because I disintegrated him. I hoped I was far enough. Although, shouldn't it just ignore him? It doesn't work on him normally. So... yeah, maybe I can use the far reach to get outside of the pylons. Oh damn it! It's not.
According to the scales beneath the floor and my acoustic sensors, quite quickly.
It's not what I wanted to do. I thought I'm going to get behind him. Do not use this elevator between 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. I need my 4 hours of sleep. Okay, so where's the oil tank for that? It's behind the wall?
You're rich enough to afford a couple of the Clockworks? I happen to know you've doubled your fortune since the Duke took over the silver mines.
Lower wages means higher profits, but it's my time that's precious. I'm not used to waiting.
Neither am I. When was the last time someone had me waiting for more than an hour? I can't remember. It's almost titillating.
How many clockworks did you say there were? It's a numbered set, if I recall.
It is indeed, but 36, 46? Very exclusive, whatever the count. Everyone at the Garden Club will be green with envy.
What brought you to my home? That's what fascinates me. The long chain of events from your conception in the filthy straw of a dismal barn somewhere out across the Empire to the second when your foot touched my doorstep. How many people did you hurt? And how many hurt you? How many wings have you plucked from how many flies?
There he goes again. Who do you suppose he's talking to?
It explains the delay at least. If there is a break-in, I hope the Clockworks deal with it quickly. I'm tired of waiting for Jindosh.
I will take them down because...
Whatever you've done,
Who are you and what have you done?
do you know how long
We're
we've
waiting
waited
for
this
Kieran
appointment?
Jindosh. Leave us be.
Okay, I didn't think they would run. I am going to let them kill me because I don't want the civilians to be hurt. I would prefer to, you know, take them down, lay them to sleep on couches and stuff in a single room rather than running all around. This place is a death trap, all things considered, so...
Come on! I'll be...
Invitation letter from Jindosh. Dear Mr. Hadros, it would be my pleasure to play host to you and give you a personal demonstration of my Clockwork soldiers as you take possession of yours. As you must know, the cost is exceptionally high, but once you see one of my creations in action, you will be unable to resist the purchase. Please arrive at the appointed date between the hours of 2 and 3 in the afternoon. It's important that you arrive on time I have specified, otherwise I might mistake you for an intruder. Okay, where is the woman? Right here. Okay, let's just all chill in here. Read that already. Sarkonan Legends, Haunted Cliffs of Culero. Well, if this is up to scale, then they are haunted by giants. Assessment chamber. Wait inside. Kieran Jindosh will escort you to the assessment chamber for a demonstration of the Clockwork soldier. Okay, so this is not the assessment chamber, it's just a waiting room for the assessment chamber. Okay, this episode I think has been long enough, and also my sister's dog is very nervous about something, so I have to check up on her. I'm going to save here and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!